Here with Kevin Schubert.
Auto Tech.
Do you want some?
Yep.
What's going on, man?
No, man.
It's good to see you, man. I remember when I first got hired, I remember seeing you walking around campus. You were definitely one of the good guys to talk to.
Yeah.
What brought you to Pennco?
I mean, I got out the military, wanted to go to school, and I talked to a couple of my friends, and one of my friends knew the guy Frank that works here, and he put me in with Frank. Frank contacted me, came to school, sat with Frank. He gave me all the classes, the layout, everything that school has to offer, not only just school-wise, but then outside of the school for job opportunities once you graduate, and just talking after that just sealed the deal, and I decided to come to Pennco.
Got you. Do you care to elaborate a little bit more about the educational benefits?
As far as me, I'm retired military, so with me, I got my GI Bill from the military, and that paid for my schooling, which means I didn't have to pay anything to come to school. And if you're a veteran, you actually get paid to come to school every month. You actually get a paycheck to come to school. So it's like they not only do they pay for your school, but they pay you to come to school. So why not come to school and get a career and make yourself a better person and further your education?
Gotcha, man. How many programs have you actually completed at Pennco?
I've graduated as an electrician, about to graduate as an automotive tech, and I will be returning for auto body for my third certification.
Check you out. All right, Dave. I'm not a mechanic at all. I work with education, obviously, but I noticed your sweatshirt. If you had to choose between two, Matco or Snap-on, which one would it be?
I mean, as you could tell, got Matco on. And with Matco and Snap-on, I respect both of them. They both make wonderful tools. I just always been dealing with Matco. My father had Matco, my grandfather, everybody, and I've always just liked their tools, their quality of their tools. Now, I mean, I'm not going to knock Snap-on. They do make some good tools.
Gotcha.
I just like my Matco, the quality.
So you got the hookup.
Yes, I have the hookup. Actually, I do.
Do you have any advice for future Pennco Tech students?
I say if you're going to come to school and put your all into schooling. Like, don't just come to school because maybe mom and dad might pay for it, or you might have student loans that want to pay for it and you just want to do something. If it's really something that you want to do, put your heart into it, put your all. It's always good to be in school and actually want to be in school. Because if you don't want to be here, then you're just going to waste your time, and it's not going to help you in the long run, because when you get out of this school and you go for a job, they might look at your schooling and look at your grades and see what your attendance was like, and then contact and talk to instructors and talk to personnel in the school. And if you don't put your all into a school, how are you going to put your all into a job when you get out of school? How can you expect to further yourself in a job if you're not going to put your all into that? If you want a pay raise, you got to put your time, you got to put everything into it, just like schooling. If you want to be able to make that money when you get out of school, you have to put your all into it. You can't just do it halfway. My name is Kevin Schubert, U.S. Army retired veteran. Came here to be an electrician, auto tech, and will be returning to be an auto body tech. Stop procrastinating and finally make the decision to do something with your life. Come to Pennco Tech and get an education.
What's up, YouTube? Hakeem Coles, Evening Education Supervisor. I'm here with Josh Aviles. What's going on, Josh?
What's going on, man?
How you feeling, man?
Sure.
Describe for our viewers your Pennco Tech experience.
The experience was really good. You know, I got a lot of help. I got a lot of support from everybody around me. I was motivated. It was a very good experience, definitely worth it.
Do you have any advice for prospective students in the future, especially coming out of high school?
Yeah, just take
Why
advantage
Pennco?
of your opportunities and
What brought you here?
don't overthink your situation. Just go for it. It's definitely worth the overall experience. Just the overall, the atmosphere.
Let's try it again.
Like the atmosphere.
Let's try it again.
How does it sound?
Whatever you want to do.
The people, the environment, everything around you.
Let's see.
Definitely
All right.
help.
So here we go. All right. So why Pennco? What brought you here?
Shit, you fucking me up, man.
Let me give you a different question.
Well, what I told him was what really happened. I didn't like where I was at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't like where I was at. I was working a crappy job, minimum wage, putting in a lot of work. I didn't like the job as much, and I figured, I'm not trying to stay stuck doing this the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna work and work hard, I want to work doing something I like, and I obviously like the automotive field, everything about cars. So I decided to just go for it, and I don't regret it. I really like where I'm at right now. I'm working already.
What are you up to now?
I'm working right now, working full time, getting a nice pay to start out. I'm learning as I go. I learn something new every day, and I could say I learned a lot through the school.
What would you consider some of the differences in working in the shop here at Pennco as opposed to actually being out in the field?
Well, the difference is in the shop here, we're usually working on student cars or the actual school cars. It's the actual I forgot the word. The feeling that you're working on a real life car.
Mm-hmm.
It belongs to a customer. You gotta be careful on how you work on it. You got actual customers there. You don't want to break nothing. You don't want to mess nothing up. That adrenaline rush, the feeling you're actually getting paid to do what you like to do now.
Do you think the experience in the Pennco shops prepared you for what you're doing in the field right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely prepared me. The teachers were always on top of you, making sure you did something right.
Gotcha.
If you messed something up, you had the opportunity to get it fixed, and the teachers were there to help you. I want to be successful. I want to own a business. I want to be able to be a leader in what I've actually invested in learning.
Good morning, I'm Dave Trimble. I'm with Mr. Frank Hamza. We are here at Pennco Tech School.
Good morning, my name is Frank Hamza. I'm an automotive instructor at Pennco Tech. Been teaching here since 1970. 1970.
That's what we do in engine class.
And welcome to Pennco Tech.
1970.
1970.
I was not even close to bored. How did you wind up at Pennco Tech?
Before us lies a book.
Keep 'em rolling.
Which came to me many years ago by a man who I barely knew, with a heavy accent, and looked at me and said, "Would you like to have this book?" It's a cursed book. He who touches this book is committed to auto repair for all time. In its original condition, I spent more time in this book than I actually should have, to which, at that point, the spell was their former wizards.
So then when did Pennco Tech turn into Pennco? When did Philco Ford transition to Pennco Tech?
Philco Ford was into many things at the moment. They were into appliances, as we all know. And they had a manufacturing plant in Philadelphia. They had a headquarters in Philadelphia. They also had one, if I remember correctly, in King of Prussia.
Okay.
And Philco Ford had announced that they were going to start to downsize, at which point the training portion, which was the automotive training portion, which, if I believe right, with Philco Ford started in 1966, was around from 1966. I joined in 1970, And it was approximately 1971 or 2 that Pennco announced that they were going to begin to downsize the corporation, at which point the automotive portion was kind of questionable as to what its future was going to be.
Okay.
Until a man stepped forward and made the decision that he was going to see this into this century.
And that would be John Hobiak.
That would be Mr. John Hobiak, yes.
Pennco Ford becomes Pennco Tech.
Correct.
You obviously stay on board. Was that the move a lot of people were making, or did a lot of people leave, or how was the transition?
I was the only one that stayed.
The
on
only
board.
one that stayed.
Everyone else took that poorly.
So what made you stay?
Mr. Hobiak.
Mr. Hobiak. Pretty powerful statement. And now it's almost 2015, and we're here. You're still at Pennco. We've got Michael Hobiak as president. John Hobiak is still obviously involved. Family-owned company. What about one man, one owner made you stay? How long did you know him at that point?
A year.
1 year. So 1 year this guy, and you must have believed something.
A man with a career, a man that had an established career, stepped away from it and stepped into this. Stepped into the school business. You step away from a lifelong career into a school business.
There's got to be a reason.
There's got to be a reason. Somebody saw something.
Yeah. Yep.
Perhaps an apostle should look at someone and say he sees something.
Gotcha.
He did see something.
Absolutely.
And our current president has yet led us through and still continues to lead us through, and he sees something.
And that's
How do
why
you
we're
not
here.
believe?
Have to believe.
How do you not believe? For how many years?
So I mean, give us an idea. Right now, you're the automotive lead instructor. You've been here since we started. When, in your experience, as far as, I know based off of U.S. Department of Ed reports, Pennco Tech spends a significant amount more per student than our competitors. This is based off of what we put into the teachers, but also just the supplies and the equipment. I've talked to people who have worked at other schools, not saying they're good, bad, or indifferent, but where they have, they're publicly traded, stockbrokers, etc., where they have to get everything through a board in order to buy something that we might need for a shop. Being privately owned, we have a little more flexibility there. I mean, how has your experience been? If you needed something for the shop or for your program, have you ever been denied?
Having been put into the position that I'm in now as the automotive department head, there has never in the history of Pennco Tech, then or now, ever been a piece of equipment, been a training item, and as time changes and we need to upgrade our training, irregardless, there has never been a time when it was not made available to us in a timely manner. It takes time to make stuff happen. Everybody has an understanding of that. And irregardless, from the smallest to some of the very big, highly expensive equipment, our alignment machines, our balancing machines, lifts, transmission equipment, engine equipment, electrical,
Scan tools.
scan tool equipment.
I never realized how expensive they were. I went to order one.
When you hold the
Okay, $10,000.
When you hold the scan tool in your hand, you have to say to yourself, you really do, when when we come to an automotive cluster meeting and say we need to get a piece of equipment to make a step in the correct direction. And of course, I always premeditate the cost of it, and along with Mike and along with the entire staff, we always look at it, and we will always have to respect something. Money spent has to be long-term. This can't be an object ever bought on a whim, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was ever bought on a whim. It's been discussed probably 2 months in advance of it even being brought to the table to say we need. When you hold a scan tool in your hand and you look at this object, not the potential, when you look at the physical object, you have to say to yourself, how do you justify $10,000 holding this piece of equipment,
Yep.
which if it at some given point does not remain upgradable, it's a $10,000 object to be shelved. Fortunately, today the equipment that we have is upgradable, and in their words, for that period of time, whatever that period of time is going to be. When we mentioned that we should upgrade to a newer, more comprehensive scan tool, yes was the answer. When we said alignment machine, state of the art, yes was the answer. Truck lift, yes was the answer. We have a tool room that will rival many. The amount of equipment available in that tool room, I don't think enough people really stop and look at the tool room and say the dollar value investment. Yet you go in and the piece of equipment is there, not only for automotive, but for the other disciplines as well that are hands-on groups.
I mean, you've taught students from, I mean, I can only imagine the amount of the different stories that you may have, but if somebody's looking to come to Pennco and they're in their 40s and they think, oh, I'm too old to go to school.
You're never too old to learn, ever. If you go to sleep that night and you have not learned one thing, heard one thing that you did not know, it's a bitter day. Look for something each day. And yes, if somebody's in their 40s, if somebody's in their 50s, if someone is retired, if someone isn't even sure that they need to do this for a living, try it once, make a decision.
Come on in.
It's surprising what you can find in yourself if you keep an open mind, and what you can learn and establish within yourself.
So a lot of times, high school seniors on the other end of the spectrum, they want to take a year off. They're not sure. They want to do this. A lot of times, college might not be for them. So what we try to do is get a message out there, like, stop procrastinating. Like, let's go. Come on in. Let's figure this out. Any sort of from your experience, any message you have?
Totally understandable that someone graduating high school has yet to have a set direction.
Unless you get the magic book.
Maybe you get a magic book handed to you by a stranger and it fulfills your life. And it's just unquenchable. I'm living proof of that.
But without the magic book.
Without the magic book, you need someone to bring you towards a topic, and that person within themselves has to see themselves in that role, have to be brought to it, and an awakening will happen. And whether it's automotive or whether it's any hands-on skill, you could be an electrician, you can be an HVAC person, you can be an auto body person. Somebody in auto body has that talent, has that artistry to paint. They'll find that within themselves. All they need to do is be brought to it. An employer has to give somebody an opportunity at that point to advance with this. All of what we do here is in preparation for the work world. Give somebody a good solid start. Let them find that within themselves. There's always outside distraction in the world that will sway people slightly from what they're presently doing or what they think they want to do. If they can move beyond that point and keep that focus, and an employer gives someone a start and let that person realize their sense of self, they will succeed.